Welcome, everyone. Today, for your Do Now, you're trying to figure out what's the author's message in this cartoon. It's going to be our goal for today is to analyze lots of political cartoons. So we're going to keep practicing these ideas, these skills. When you're doing it on your own, go through the same process I'm going through. All right, we got to figure out who are the people in these classes, in these cartoons. What do they symbolize in the real world? All right, so we got two guys here fighting in the schoolyard, but they're obviously not students. We have Joe Biden and Donald Trump. They're both threatening to hurt each other, to fight. They're using schoolyard um, threats, right? All this makes them look very immature, right? So you can probably guess this is going to be a negative message. This is a criticism. And it's a criticism of both of them, right? This author is criticizing both Biden and Trump for being immature, for threatening each other, for acting like high school or school age bullies. Right? And it's so bad that even elementary kids are like, what are they doing? Come on, let's get out of here. We got to go to anti bullying class. That young kids are better at not bullying people than our politicians. So this one's very critical of our leaders and their leadership styles. Before we start jumping into cartoons today, there's a few amendments we haven't mentioned when it comes to the Bill of Rights. All right, we skipped the Third Amendment, which says no quartering soldiers. Now, this is something from back in the day when an army used to roll through your town. They would kick you out and they would live in your house until it was time for them to move on, and they could use up all your stuff, eat up all your food. So the Third Amendment says the government can't come in and just start taking over and use your stuff for the good of the country. Ninth Amendment says we have a lot of other rights that we haven't listed off, and we get those too. Even though we couldn't come up with them all right now, we get other rights whenever we decide we get to add more rights if we want. The 10th Amendment just says any power that the federal government doesn't have goes to the states. The states get to decide those issues, and that's the 10 Amendments. Those are our Bill of Rights. Like I said, our goal today is to understand political cartoons. So when we get a cartoon, we need to look for symbolism. So what sort of people, objects, actions in the cartoon, what do they stand for in the real world? We're trying to figure out what's the author saying. Are they praising someone or are they criticizing someone, and why? Some of the major symbols we might see donkeys doing something. A donkey represents the Democrats, which is the same party as Joe Biden. Elephants represent Republicans. These are just their mascots, right? Their team mascots, essentially. Elephants are Republicans, which tend to agree with Donald Trump. You see a tall guy in a red, white, and blue suit with a hat. That's Uncle Sam. He represents America or the U.S. government. So here we've got a political cartoon. What sort of symbols are we noticing? Who do they represent? You can type your response on the Pear Deck and then try and figure out, well, what's the author saying? All right, well, we got an elephant and a donkey. Elephant is Republicans. Donkey is Democrats. We can see the elephants are holding a sign saying pro-life, meaning they're against abortion. They want to protect life and not allow abortions. But they're also saying, let's keep the death penalty. That seems a little contradictory that life is really important, that we can't have abortions, yet we're not trying to protect life of adults either. We're allowing the death penalty. What's so important? Is life the most important thing? What's going on with Republicans? But then Democrats have a sign that says pro-choice, right? Your body, your choice. But then they're also okay with vaccine mandates requiring people get vaccinated. If it's all about choice, why don't people have the freedom of choice there? This author is pointing out that both parties don't make a whole lot of sense. They contradict themselves a lot, right? If Republicans care so much about life, why do they have the death penalty? And if Democrats believe so much in choice, why do they have vaccine mandates? A lot of our political views don't make a lot of sense. So this author is criticizing both Democrats and Republicans. Here we got our next one. Who is this guy in the cartoon? Do you think it's positive or negative? So this one is going to be representing Donald Trump. He's talking about how Obama never drew crowds like these, but the crowd's saying, we're not here for you, we're here protesting you. So this is a negative cartoon criticizing Trump for not recognizing that he's very popular. People listen and watch him a lot, but that doesn't mean that he's popular because people like him. And this author is saying most people dislike him. All right, our next cartoon, we got 3 characters. Who are these people? Who do they represent? Who do they symbolize? Well, we got Trump here. We've got this statue, which is Lady Justice. She's the blindfold and the scales. Usually has a sword as well. And we got Lady Liberty, represents freedom, democracy. So in this cartoon, Trump is trying to attack freedom, but justice is stopping him. He's trying to attack liberties and freedoms of the people. The justice system is stopping him. This is like checks and balances. Last one. What do you think the author is trying to say about the FBI's investigation of Biden? So he's got a blindfold on with a donkey, meaning that the FBI is controlled, blinded by the Democratic Party. So when they're investigating Joe Biden, they're purposely looking the wrong way. There's a lot of accusations that the government is not holding Joe Biden accountable the same way they tried to hold Trump accountable. Why is Trump being accused and brought charges against him, where Biden, doing very similar things, is not being charged? So this one is criticizing the FBI. So today you're going to go around the room. There's going to be lots of different cartoons for you to analyze. You're going to try and figure out the author's message, figure out different aspects of it. You can work with a partner or alone. And here's a quick review of what our amendments are for. They should also be in your notes. If we finish early, you can do makeup work.